So just about to start my hike here. Just checking the board here, and there's a spot you can sign in and report wildlife. Someone ahead of me already reported Sasquatch. July 2nd. That's the mountains I'm going up, right across the train tracks here. The peak of those mountains is the border between Jasper National Park in Alberta and Mount Robson Provincial Park in British Columbia. So the reason I picked this place, talking Sasquatch, there's 3 lakes down below where I parked that I fished. Lots of lake trout, lots of rainbow trout in there. Rivers running in and out. The whole way up we have a mixed forest. Pine, spruce, some deciduous, berry plants everywhere. And then been doing some research on Google Earth. Up in the alpine above these peaks, there's a couple just like isolated bowls, a few alpine lakes, and there's some valleys that run the alpine corridors between Mount Robson and Jasper. Could easily, you know, Bigfoot stay up there, have a trail across, crossing Alberta to BC, migrating, anything, stay right out of the public eye. You'd have to be one hell of a hiker to get up into some of these places. I'll see how it goes. It's looking great so far. It's the first cool sign I found. Here's a bear clawed up a tree. They'll mark their territory, or sometimes it's just stretching. If you look compared to my hand, it's a pretty big bear paw. Another one right here. And claws. I thought it might be too late, but there's still some berries out. So if a guy who's getting ready for a long winter, he could be still munching down on berries. Oh yeah, there's still lots here. Early fall, leaves are just starting to turn color. Cold at night, but warm in the day. So I thought I'd show this for anyone who doesn't know about the mountain pine beetle or hasn't seen its effects. So it's all, in my opinion, due to climate change. We don't get the cold winters we used to. We need 30 days below 30 degrees Celsius at the warmest. We haven't seen that in decades. You know, it's just ravaged the province, the forest industry, and the parks. So when they go in, that right there's a pitch tube. That's where the tree is punching out sap and sawdust, trying to get rid of the beetle. And then here I cut in, you can see that's the gallery where the beetle went in. Goes up, he'll lay his eggs in here, the babies hatch. Larvae goes around, cuts off the cambium to the tree. That's where the food and water go up and down. And that's why all our pine trees are dying. When you look up through there, they're all red. Those are all dead. That's the guy I just did. Kind of wonder what Sasquatch thinks as he watches the forest around him die. So my girlfriend this morning told me to go out, go do some Bigfooting, clear my head, get rid of the stress of work in the world. Absolutely mission accomplished. This place is insane. That's the highway down below. If you hear any weird noises in the background, it cuts through the center of the valley. I'm hiking up a way, and that's the lake I was saying I've caught lake trout and rainbows in. So I shoot all my videos on my phone. And I have a little tripod and selfie stick I bought. But I lost it on the way up. So now I've built this, which is homemade using one of my girlfriend's hair elastics. And I usually use that to hold it in a little holder. So I use that and a couple pieces of wood and made a homemade tripod. So anything I shoot from now on is in this little homemade tripod. I was walking up this trail here. Got a stream, kind of went right down the middle of it. It's great. Gave me some soft terrain to see tracks right here. I'm into a moose track. pointing towards me. Here's his toes, his back, slipped out in the mud. You can see a few more up there. Any tracks are interesting, you gotta stop and check every one. And coming through here reminds me of the William Rowe story. My last episode I did there, Micah Mountain, 1950s. He was this time of year in the fall. He was subalpine, which I am. He came into a clearing, saw one, bent over eating berries. Exact same scenario I'm into here for terrain, kind of why I'm here. And as the crow flies, I'm about 50 kilometers from Micah Mountain. So judging my speed, I'm 5'10". I do 2.5 kilometers an hour, average walking through the woods. I can pick it up to 5 if I want to hustle. So put another 3 feet of height on Sasquatch, you know, he's only a day or 2 days hike to get from here to there. So I consider myself in a very good location today. And I didn't even know when I just started shooting this clip I was going to open up into this. Finding these spots in the mountains right here, this is what life's all about. So I'm in that clearing. I'm looking here. I definitely have something walking here. It's really wet, which is kind of funny because first day in my new boots, which are waterproof Rocky Mountain boots, loving them. But back to this, you can see out there where all the grass is pushed over, something has walked through here. I just haven't found a track to see what yet. But definitely spook alarm is up. This just feels like grizzly territory. So I have my mace, I have a big knife. I'm being careful, but definitely alarms are raised right now. But what a spot I'm in. I spend every day at work out in the woods, but it's different when you come out and just focus on Bigfoot. All of a sudden the spidey senses are going. Every noise is something. I gave myself a good spook back there. I got the squirrels going crazy behind me, and they're kind of the messenger of the woods. You always listen to squirrels and you always listen to crows. They'll tell you where stuff is at. It's kind of that. And I thought I heard something in the bushes, but further inspection, I think it was just the wind in the trees, and I totally duped myself. Either way though, good time in the woods. Up through that opening. Tracks everywhere, but it was so wet that they just stuck in. You couldn't really get one. Now I've left them back into Rocky, and it's kind of a shoot up towards those peaks. I don't know if I'll actually hit them. They're way out there, but keep going for a while anyways. So before it was nice and calm. I could hear the highway in the background. Now I'm up here, the wind's picked up. I'm in a bunch of dead pine. The trees are just talking. This is when the power of suggestion comes in. You hear cracks, you hear pops, you hear little noises. Everything you hear, if you point towards Bigfoot, you can just make shit up in this type of woods. Gotta be real careful to just stay on point and realize that not everything is a Bigfoot. So just focused on what Sasquatch could eat. This plant here, Labrador tea, it's got the brown fuzzy bottom. You pick the leaves, you can eat these. And also a lot of people, I've made tea out of them, put it in a boiling pot, boil a bunch up, it's great. So you got that, there's grasses, there's berries all over the place, mushrooms all over the place, all sorts of wildlife, moose, deer, all your martins, that type of stuff. I know the area, there's bear, there's cougar, there's wolf. You know, you got the lakes, you got fish down below, you have fresh water, streams running everywhere. And the last thing, Sasquatch needs to survive is shelter. And I mean, there's this one little trail. I'm barely even making a print in it, really hard ground. You get the soupy areas, you can avoid those. And you get off to the side. I mean, one could stand 20 feet over there behind a tree and you wouldn't see it. Where I am, the stretch of highway, there's about 100 kilometers that I'm really the only sanctioned trail up into the Alpine. So it'd be so easy to stay covered here. So in all, when you click the boxes, absolutely Sasquatch could live in this place and stay away from humans for a joke. So you got a good track here. You can see 4 toes, the pad. So we got 2 options. It's either a wolf or someone's dog. The reason I lean towards wolf is I'm 4.5 kilometers up here, past a lot of mud, a lot of traps. Haven't seen anything of a dog yet. So, you know, if there was one this fresh, I would have probably seen it already. So I'm going to lead towards this as a wolf track. All right, we got a scat here, full of berries, most likely bear. But then something I've talked about with guys at work, how do we know it's bear? We walk by so many and say, yeah, this is bear. Who really knows what a Sasquatch scat looks like? They're eating the same stuff. So I think I hit my peak today. I'm just having a sugar-free drink and some protein bars before I head down. So I ended up going up and cutting across the bottom of all those peaks. I have that on my GPS. Now next time, I'm not worried about coming down and finding a trail. I think I'm just gonna cut off the trail and go straight up towards those peaks. Definitely be a part 2 here. It's good too to just stop and listen. Hear what the woods is all about. So is there lots of people ask me about 5-head stories, Bigfoot stories? Definitely had some experiences and known a lot of people who have. Figured girlfriend said I should start sharing them. Friend said I should share some. Here's one of my favorite ones. We're up in a barge camp, floating barge up the coast in one of the back inlets. Me and 2 guys are eating dinner. I'm in my young 30s. They're both in their young 20s. There's an older guy in his 60s or 70s, hard to tell. Face looks like an old weathered catcher's mitt, been logging since he was probably 12 years old. We're talking about Bigfoot and his meal, pork chop, potato, and a glass of vodka. He's taking a bite and he just stops, looks at us. Saw one once back in the 70s, yard and block. We were all up on the road, it walked out in the bottom of the block. Looked at us, we looked at it, it walked away. Then he finished his bite of his pork chop. And we all just went dead silent, looked at each other. We're like, holy, what would make a guy say that? Everybody was dead quiet, got up and left the kitchen, and it was never spoke of again. Those are the people I like, the old guys from way back before, you know, all the nonsense in the world. They got some good stories. I think I'm gonna finish my snack and hike her back down and just stop and look around on the way back down. I'm way up here, got lots of spots I'll check out on the way down too. So I'm on my way down, and this is where I was saying Yellowhead Mountain part 2. I'm probably gonna come into here somewhere and just straight line up there towards those peaks. Try to get up right at the base, you know, see if there's any trails up there. I've fished below these mountains for years and I want to go climb them. Just coming down here, I stopped here. This is some blowdown, the dead pine. It blows over so easy, the woods are just tangled with it. Makes it hard in the looking for tree structures type thing, because there's just this shit everywhere. This looks totally natural to me. I just think it's blowdown. So I'm back in this opening where I thought I heard something before. I came in as quiet as possible. I've sat here for a bit and listened. I don't hear anything now. All right, so just doing the final descent down to my truck. Came down, the wind picked up, the woods came alive, lots of noises. Nothing out of the ordinary though. Didn't find Bigfoot today, but found a crazy new area that I'm going to spend a lot of time in. I've been all around the bottom. I've always looked up the hillside, but never hiked up here. This is one of my new favorite spots. Don't know when I'll do another episode, but try to keep them coming whenever I can fit it in between work. Thanks for everybody who came for the adventure.